Do you think dawah at work is different? Do you think we should give dawah at work in any form? Is it best to avoid it? Like, if you were in the corporate world today, how would you kind of tackle that and challenge that?
Yeah, I wouldn't. I don't think I would. Um, yeah, I would do my best to give dawah to everybody I could. Obviously, you, obviously you're going to have a working relationship with people. So look,
Mm.
so I mean, if I parachute into some remote part of England, say for example, right, or some remote part of Africa, and I talk to a bunch of people there, and I leave. I don't have to live with the consequences. They're not going to be my neighbors, right?
Yeah.
I'm not going to be meeting them every day. So in some ways, it's really, really easy, right? It's really, really easy to say whatever it is you want to say. But obviously, at work, you're living with the consequences of facing those people every single day.
Yeah.
So the dynamics are going to be different. And therefore, the importance of you understanding the psychology and the mindset of the people you're dealing with is, you're going to have to take a little bit of time to understand who is this person, what motivates them, because there's a long-term relationship here. But you also need to think of it like this: is that look, if you're not telling them about Islam, actually in reality, there's you're not really being sincere. You're not really being who you are. You're actually, in a way, lying to them. And I think ultimately people smell that out. Uh, and no one likes that. No one likes hypocrites. People actually admire and respect generally people who are honest and forthright, and they are who they are, and they're not two-faced. So there is always a way of communicating what you need to communicate. It doesn't mean people are going to be happy with you, but inshallah, they will respect you, which is way, way more important. They will respect you for you being yourself. I heard about one da'i, he used to go to people, he used to stop people in the street, and he would say to them with all sincerity, look, there's something I know it's very, very important that I tell you, and I care about you. I want the best for you. They would literally randomly stop. Do you mind if you just spend a few minutes just listening to what I have to say? Because like it's you're doing me a favor by listening to me because I have a duty, and if I don't fulfill that duty, then I'm going to be accountable.
Mm.
So like there's many different ways that you can get through to people, um, and at the end of the day, look, the bottom line is that you have to think that when you meet Allah on the Day of Judgment, and that person who you worked with for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever it is, and when Allah asks them about why they didn't become Muslim, and they turn to Allah and say, well, you know, this guy, he was a Muslim, and he was in the office with me for 5 years. He never told me anything about Islam. All that time he was Muslim. He never gave me the message. He never told me anything. He never gave me anything to read, nothing. So that's it. You think Allah's not going to ask you? You think you're not going to be accountable in some way for that? So, yeah, we really have to do our best. It's a type of responsibility that we have. And so it's good for you to remind yourself about those types of things. But also we have to remember that don't think that because of that you can just say anything, right? Because you also have a responsibility to explain to them what Islam is in the best way. You can't just say to them, oh, you need to be Muslim. Well, I mean, you could say that. I've tried that. I've
Yeah.
tried that with people, and with some people it works. It really does, you know. But like I said, it's a little bit about understanding people's psychology, their mindset, how they are. You're gonna approach different people in different ways.
Mm.
Yeah, and that's all. Like dawah is really an art, and it's one of those things. Like you're never gonna learn to draw unless you start drawing, and the more you practice, the better you get. It's like any skill set. I believe that anybody, if they put their mind and heart to it, almost anybody can acquire almost any skill. Barring maybe maybe it might be tough if you're 3 feet tall to be a great basketball player. I agree. That might be tough, right? But, apart from some genetic predisposition to some particular things, right? Generally, we human beings can do anything we put our minds to it if we are ready to practice enough, to put enough effort and time into it. And giving dawah is one of those things that all of us, really most of us, we have to acquire some type of proficiency in that, because that's just part of what Allah has obligated us with.
Mm.